Hey everyone, and welcome back to another financial check-in video. Today is the last day of August, so that means we're going to go over our monthly cash flow, how much money we made, how much we spent. We'll also update our monthly balance spreadsheet and take a look at our account balances together. But yeah, if you're new here, my name is Amanda and I make videos documenting my journey to reach financial independence with my husband. I've been married for almost 4 years now. We don't have any kids yet, but we do have 2 dogs. We both work in tech. My husband's a software engineer and I am a technical support engineer. I just turned 29 this past month and my husband's going to turn 34 next month, so we're 5 years apart. He's been investing a little bit longer than I have, but we've been tracking our finances together ever since we got married. So that's a little bit about us. Without further ado, let's head on over to Monarch to take a look at our cash flow. So this is Monarch. This is a financial tracking app that we subscribe to, and we've been using it for the last year and a half, and we've been loving it so far to keep track of our expenses. And then it can also track your account balances automatically if you don't like manually inputting into a spreadsheet every month. So this is completely automated. All you have to do is really just check in and see how you're doing on a monthly basis or however frequently you want to take a look. But yeah, this is our August cash flow. So for the month of August, we made a total of $13,493 from our salary income. And of that, 65% came from my husband's paycheck and 32% came from my paycheck. And then we made some non-salary income from our high yield savings account. So from that interest, we made $304. So that's all the income that we made for the month of August. And then just moving on to the expenses portion here. So if we could take a look at our expenses, we spent the most in our monthly bills this month, and our highest expense is on our dogs. So I think the reason why this one is a little bit higher compared to previous months is because we took them to the vet to get their 6-month biannually wellness check. So they got their blood work done, they got their vaccines updated, things like that. So I think $400 or $500 went to that, and then the remaining is just their insurance, their wellness plan costs, and then their food for the month. Our next expense here is our HOA fee. So this is just something that we pay to our townhouse HOA, $397 a month. Electricity, we spent $157. Our phone bill, $148. Internet, $120, and subscriptions, $63. So the total for monthly bills this month was $1,949, which is about 14% of our total spending. The next category here is guilt-free spending. So this is spending that we don't necessarily need, but it's just nice to have. So we spent $864 on shopping, and half of this is actually like a continuation from last month because my husband has been building his new computer and he's been testing a few different power supplies and some of them didn't work, so we had to return some of them to Amazon. But one of the power supplies didn't get like a refund to our credit card, so we got a credit instead. So we technically should be getting that as a refund, but since we shop at Amazon anyway, we're just gonna keep that credit and then just use it for future. So $864 there, $550 to entertainment and games, and $200 to personal care. So that totals to $1,650 for guilt-free spending. Our next category here is food. So we spent $876 on dining out and $336 on groceries this month, which totals to $1,212, which is actually below our budget for the month. We usually budget about $1,500 on food, so we're doing pretty good. This month we did cut back a little bit on some spending there. And for car and home, we spent $246 on auto and transportation. We didn't drive that much this month. I think this is mainly just renewing our license and registration. And then $41 to insurance. We also spent $24 on household essentials. So for the total for car and home comes to $312 for the month. And then for taxes and fees, we had to pay about $56 in financial fees, and this is from $30 for a wire transfer that we had to make, and we had to order some checks. $56 in taxes and fees there. And then for health and dental, my husband actually got attacked by a cat. We were checking in for one of his friend's cats while they were gone for the weekend, and yeah, we were feeding their cats, and then all of a sudden, okay, so when we first got there was quite a bit of tension in the air because they have two cats, and from what we've heard, they like play fighting a lot. But when we got there, they were basically doing like a standoff while we were refilling their food, and then all of a sudden they just started meowing or like yowling. They were like basically just yowling at each other, hissing, and my husband got caught in the crossfire and got scratched behind his knee, and he was bleeding quite a bit. We didn't have a first aid kit at home, so we had to buy one, and then I had to buy additional gauze so that we could wrap his leg. But yeah, it was not fun and kind of traumatic. But luckily my friend had another friend that's more familiar with cats that was able to cat sit for them for the remainder of the weekend while they were out. But yeah, I don't think my husband's a cat person, since that was his second cat attack, because my best friend also has cats and the male cat doesn't like him for some reason. Anyway, that's besides the point. We'll never get cats and we'll just stick to having dogs. But yeah, that's the story of this medical expense here. So for the month of August, we made a total of $13,797, and we spent $5,175. So our total net income for this month was $8,622, which is a 62.5% savings rate. And if you watch my previous video, you'll know that we went negative last month in terms of cash flow. So this is pretty good for how much we spent last month. We did try to intentionally spend a little bit less too, because we do have some upcoming plans that we're saving for. So yeah, hopefully we continue to spend in this range of $5,000 to $6,000. That way we can save more money. So that's our cash flow for the month of August. Let's move on to our accounts page here. So according to Monarch, our liquid net worth is $731,563. And that's about a 1,000 change from last month. Our credit card balance went down since we paid off all our balances from last month. So our current credit card balances totals to $4,835, which we do pay off every month. And in terms of investment, we went up about $13K, and that's just from market gains and our contributions for this past month. So we're currently sitting around $629K in investments. And if you take a look here, our cash went down about $19K, and now we're sitting about $106.7K in cash. And the reasoning behind that is because we actually made the decision to purchase some land. So $25K of our cash went there, and that's just the first like earnest money deposit that we made. And the reason why we decided to buy this plot of land was because we came across an opportunity where they're selling like plots of land, a really good location, and we do want to buy like a single family home eventually. And we've been, casually looking here and there to see if we find one that we like on the market, but we haven't really found one that we really loved. So we decided that we're gonna buy some land, and when we're ready to build, we're gonna build our dream home. So we're first just gonna buy the land and probably sit on it for a couple years, because building a house is really expensive, at least for the area that we want to live in. I think it's estimated that's gonna cost like $800 to $1 million to build for like the size of home that we want. So we're just gonna buy the land first, and the land cost is the range is between 400 to 600K depending on the lot size. So we put in 25K first, and we're gonna make another payment I think next month for another percentage of the land amount, and then next year when the land is actually available is when we'll close on it. So we haven't purchased it outright yet. We haven't closed on it. We're just in the beginning phase of purchasing it. But yeah, for now, I've kept it hidden on our net worth tracker because it's not something that we can use to retire immediately. It's sort of like a long-term investment that we probably won't end up using to retire. It's just, I want to keep track of it somewhere, similar to what we have for our primary home here. But let me know what you guys think. Should I keep it hidden? because eventually we're going to have to take out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. I think that's what's called. Because yeah, we don't have enough cash to pay for the land outright. Obviously, we only have 100K in cash. So we're probably going to take a line of credit from our home to pay for the land, and then we'll just start paying like a mortgage on our current home because it's fully paid off right now. But yeah, our goal for the next couple of years is probably just to pay down this loan that we're going to take out. And since we're paying down a loan, I was thinking of maybe adding it to our net worth, but then yeah, I wasn't sure how to go about it. But I think for now I'm going to keep real estate off from our net worth and only track our liquid net worth. But let me know what you guys think. This hasn't been set in stone yet. We're still in the beginning phase of processing this, and we're working with our attorney to finalize the contract. But yeah, if it gets approved by our village by I think the end of this year, the project will start probably early next year to make the plots available. Yeah, that's our current real estate situation. The reason why we're also willing to make this decision is because we're sitting on quite a bit of cash, and the value of your cash goes down due to inflation. So I think putting it into real estate is probably a good option because one, we plan on using it in the future, and two, we also want to diversify our investments a little bit since we're pretty heavy in the stock market. I think in terms of opportunity cost, this might not be the best investment because I'm sure the stock market outperform this piece of land in terms of how much growth it'll offer. But this is something that we want as a family, and we do plan on having a kid in the future. So this is just sort of future planning for us in terms of investing and building generational wealth for our family. So that's our account page. Let's head on over to our spreadsheet because Monarch doesn't necessarily always update all our account balances. Okay, so this is our Google sheet where we keep track of our monthly balances for all our accounts, and this is our combined spreadsheet tab since we both have our own individual tabs. The 25K that we use for the earnest money came from my savings account, and then for the next payment, it's going to come out of my husband's account. So my account got hit first with that -20. For the month of August, we ended with a cash balance of $106,852. And yeah, as you can see, it went down 25K. So that makes sense there. For our retirement funds, we went up to $471,897. So that went up about 13K, if my math is correct. And then for taxable accounts, we went up to $110,194. And because we're purchasing this land, we're probably going to stop all our taxable contributions from now, only because we want to save as much money as possible so that we'll have a smaller monthly payment that we'll have to pay when we do take out that mortgage on our house. The taxable account's probably going to stop growing as quickly, but we're still going to max out our retirement accounts every year. Once we're in a better position, we'll invest in taxable accounts, but I think for now we're going to stop on those payments, and if anything, we might actually liquidate our taxable accounts, but we haven't decided yet. We're probably going to reassess by spring next year to see what we're going to do. And then for crypto, I think it went down a bit this month. We ended with $48,368. So the total for August is $737,313, which is a negative 1.3% decrease from last month. So we went down about 10.4K. So not bad considering we spent technically 25K to purchase land. I was hoping maybe we could negate it because our previous 2 months we were positive by almost 20 to 30K. But since the stock market, I think, went down a little bit and crypto went down, we didn't make that goal, but that's okay. We're technically making another investment. Oh, and another reason why I asked if we should add it to our, net worth is because then we can add it to our asset allocation pie chart here. So we can show oh, we own 20% in real estate or something like that. That was my thinking, but then I was oh, then I have to track another column. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think I should add it to our net worth tracker here so we can take a look at the asset allocation a little bit more, since it's considered like an investment. Because once we build our home, we still haven't decided if we want to rent out this place or just like sell it. Personally, I wanted to sell it because I don't want to be a landlord, but my husband thinks differently on that. Like, he wants rental income, but yeah, we'll make that decision later on. For the month of August, our asset allocation is 14.5% in cash, 64% in retirement funds, 14.9% in taxables, and then 6.6% in crypto. I think in my last video, I also did a sneak peek on this total contributions tab, and I want to quickly go over it since I don't know if I'll have time to make a separate video, so I'll just go over it in this video. So basically, I created something similar to what we do in our monthly tracking, but instead of tracking our like account balances, I'm also tracking our contributions to these accounts. So for 2025, you can see how much we've contributed to each of our investment accounts. For the total of 2025, we contributed $100,784. So we're on track to investing over 100K. We still haven't maxed out our 401ks yet. I think we're probably gonna reach maybe like 110,000 in contributions. But I've also added our previous year's contributions. It's not completely accurate since I didn't really start tracking our joint until like 2022. So this is just an estimate on how much my husband's contributed. So the lifetime contribution might be slightly higher, but given the data that I was able to collect over the last 5 years, I've contributed 135,000 to my accounts, and then my husband's contributed 193K. So his is probably a lot higher considering he's invested in his Roth IRA and 401k before we met. So this is probably closer to maybe 250K. I don't know. But based on the data that I have, this is how much that he's contributed so far, I guess, since we've met. So a combined total of how much we've invested so far since we've been together is $328,264. And then if you, I guess, stack it up against our net worth. So I created this chart here. Hopefully this is not too confusing, but yeah, this column shows the projected end balance for that year. So I projected that we're gonna maybe end the year with 753K. We're currently at 737K, and that's just pulling in from our monthly balance here. And yeah, it's just showing the net change from the previous year. And I also added like a contribution rate. So based on how much money we made in the year, how much did we contribute in proportionate to our income? I have this hidden here, but our gross income is in this column. So last year we made 283K in gross income and we contributed 94K. So that's about 33% contribution rate from our gross income. And of this change from the, I guess, previous year, 109K was in market gains. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, we contributed 94K, and then in that year, we made 109K from market gains from our past year's contributions. I also made this chart, so hopefully that it'll make more sense. So if we take a look at 2024, so this was our net worth balance at the end of 2024. And we contributed 94K, and the market like went up by 109K from our accounts. And because of this market gain in our contributions, our total net worth went up to 589K. So I kind of just want to show like how much effort we're putting in versus how much our net worth is growing over time versus how much the market is contributing to our gains over time as well. So I don't know if this graph is like a good visualization of that. But yeah, let me know if this chart makes sense. When I first made it, it made a lot of sense, but now that I'm looking at it again, I'm like, does it make sense? I don't know. But I'm gonna keep it for now and update our gross income for next year when we file our taxes or get our W-2s for next year. So yeah, the contribution rate is not available right now because we don't know how much we made for the year yet. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep this for now. At least I'm gonna look at the projected versus our end of balance net worth just to keep track of if we're on track, because the goal is to hit 3 million in liquid net assets by 2035. Like, that's the goal. Hopefully we keep up our contributions over time and our income doesn't go down. If anything, it goes up. That's the plan. But yeah, that's the contributions versus market gains. That's like something new that I wanted to start tracking. This isn't in my net worth tracker, by the way. This is just something that I've recently started using. I don't know how useful it is. Like, I want to use it for maybe like another year to see if I want to keep it. But yeah, if you want a copy of this net worth tracker where you input like your monthly balances for each account, feel free to check out the link in the description. There is a free template that you can use. So just put in 0 for the amount if you'd like a copy. That's basically it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you haven't done so already, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.